Today we're going to talk about 5 tips to help you thrive as a WordPress freelancer. And I got a little bonus for you. Hello and welcome to the Digital Alchemist podcast. I'm your host Casino from casino.com. I'm the Digital Alchemist, and today we're going to talk about 5 tips to help you thrive as a WordPress freelancer. Let's dive in. Number 5, master or delegate. Now, many people, when they try to start freelancing, they want to do everything, but it's impossible to be good at everything. So basically, my advice is see what you can master, see what you can learn to master, but then there are some things that you may never be good at. And in that case, I found it much better to find partners or other freelancers to whom you can delegate. Now, if I give the example of sales, well, I believe that everyone should learn sales because this is crucial if you want to be your own boss, you want to be a freelancer, you want to live from your passion of web design, web development, you need to learn sales. Now, that being said, this should not stop you to start freelancing. And I'm going to give you an example. I have a friend, he's really good at selling. He could sell pretty much anything you want. He's really talented. But what I like about him is that he's not going to try to sell you something if he does not believe in the product or the service. So this type of person is the perfect partner if you really want to focus on your core business and maybe you're not good at sales or maybe you need to get better. So this is something that you could actually delegate. Now, it's really crucial that you find someone trustworthy and that maybe you know for a little more than just a few months. I mean, you can meet people online and it's great, but you need to have a track record with that person because basically you're going to trust them with your sales. It's your reputation also. But I think it's a really good way of doing things. And if you think about the way it usually works in any company, you won't find one person that does everything. Now, granted, when we start freelancing, maybe we like working on our own, but at one point, it's starting to get really difficult to do everything. It's not possible. So you need to focus on where you're good and delegate the rest. Now, if I come back to my sales example, you could partner with a freelancer. If you don't have the funds to have an employee making the sales for you, then you could partner with a freelance. If you try to do everything yourself, so if you're bad at sales, but you create beautiful websites, you're a great web developer, but if you never manage to sell anything, nothing is going to happen. And you might go back to your 9-to-5 job thinking that you're not worth it when it's completely wrong. I mean, some people, they have the talent in sales from the get-go. But this was not my case. I was really shy and, I was really embarrassed to actually talk about money stuff. I mean, that was a long time ago. But just to let you know that if I could do it, you can do it because I was so shy. I remember some of the first gigs I got, I was so ashamed to even name a price that I didn't. And I remember I created a website. At the time, it was called the Cyber Cafe. So don't laugh, but I created a website for, it was a friend. He introduced me to one of his friends who had a cyber cafe, and he asked me, yeah, can you create a website for me? And I said, yes. I didn't talk about price. I didn't talk about anything. And I did the whole thing. Actually, he had 2. So I did one template and then I just changed the color for the second one. And I can't remember exactly how much he paid me, but I remember, I was just getting started, but I remember he came to my place and said, well, I'm so happy about the work you've done. This was really, really good. And then he reached to his pocket and he handed me over I think it was a 20 euros bill, I think. That's crazy. I looked at it and I was like, are you kidding me? And that's what happened. So just to cut a long story short, if I was so shy that I wouldn't even name the price, I wouldn't even price the project. And today, it's like second nature. I love sales. I love ethical sales because I'm not trying to sell everything to everyone. But when I know that I'm the person for the situation, then I'm so happy to sell because it's a win-win situation. Of course, I'm going to get a gig, I'm going to get some money, but the client is going to get an outstanding work. At least that's what I'm striving to do. 4. One ecosystem. So the old way I used to create websites, I used to just grab a theme on Theme Forest, and then I would start the project, based on the type of website that I had to build. Now, the problem with that workflow is that each and every time you need to learn, once again, everything about the new theme, because each and every theme, they have some stuff in common, but most of the time the developers have their own way of thinking, and then they will put some of the options, and then some of the options won't be there. So with that old way of working, what do you do when you need to do something outside of that theme? You're going to have to either have custom work. So you need to reach to a developer. Maybe you're going to have to pay someone, or if you're a developer yourself, well, you're going to develop it yourself. But it feels like reinventing the wheel most of the time. So the new way of working, at least the new way I work, is I choose one ecosystem. And when I say one ecosystem, I'm going to choose a WordPress theme, a WordPress theme builder, and then a suite of plugins. With all of that, I can cover most of the needs I have. Now, I want to stress the fact that it doesn't really matter which ecosystem you choose. You could be using Oxygen, you could be using Divi, you could be using Elementor, Thrive, Breezy, Beaver Builder. It doesn't really matter. You could be using any theme you want, Cadence. You could, I don't know, there are so many great WordPress themes. But this is not really the topic. What I want you to grasp is that you should choose one ecosystem, at least in my opinion, because that's going to prevent you from wasting time and reinventing the wheel each and every time. Now, it doesn't mean that you should stick to one ecosystem for your whole lifetime. Of course, there are new trends, there are new plugins, new tools, and it's great. But as a professional, you should favor stability over all the eye candy and trendy stuff. Now, when the tool has a good track record and you feel that you're stuck with your current ecosystem, then it's time to investigate. Maybe you work on a couple of projects on the side, project for yourself, so that you can learn about that new ecosystem or that new tool that you want to swap in your ecosystem. But in my opinion, you're going to stop wasting a lot of time and a lot of money if you stick to one ecosystem. Now, at the time of doing this video, my ecosystem is Astra Pro as a theme. Then I like to use Elementor Pro as a theme builder. And as a suite of plugins, I like the CrocoBlock suite of plugins. Now, depending on which license you choose, these might be really cheap or really pricey. So Elementor Pro goes from $49 per year for a one website license to $199 for 1,000 websites. Astra Pro goes from $59 all the way to $699 if you want the agency lifetime. And CrocoBlock goes from $80, I believe, depending on the pack you choose, all the way up to $750 for the lifetime. Now, even with the lifetime deals, it might sound like a lot, but honestly, you could cover that with just one project, one website. But you can still start with the personal license, get some money, and then move on. And if money is a problem, you can actually start completely free, because you can get the free version of the Astra theme, you can get the free version of Elementor, and you can get ACF, which has a free version also for all the dynamic stuff if you want to create dynamic websites. And then you can get a suite of add-ons like Essential Addons. They come with a free version, and it's really, really good. So basically, you could start with everything free, try to make some money selling a professional website, and then move on to professional tools. But money should not stop you. It should not be an issue, because honestly, just with the free version of those tools, you can create a professional website. Now, granted, it's going to be easier when you get actually the pro tools, especially Elementor Pro, because you want to use the theme builder, you want to use the pop-ups. And the reason why I like that ecosystem is that it plays well together. Now, CrocoBlock was made for Elementor, so they build the tools with Elementor in mind. And I know that for some people, they don't want to be locked in a system, and I completely understand that. But in case you've decided that this ecosystem is right for you, then it's great, because you know that when you're going to use those tools, they were made for the theme builder that you're using. That's what I really want you to grasp. Now, if you can have an ecosystem with different tools, but you can get integrated plugins like that, then it's going to be way easier for you. Now, I found it that for me, and once again, at the time of doing this video, this is the ecosystem that works best for me. I can cover pretty much anything that comes to me, that comes my way. So that's why I like it. Now, I like lifetime deals, but it's not always possible. And like I said, you can start with the free tools and then move up the ladder. 3, never stop learning. Now, when I say never stop learning, I'm not just talking about learning new technology or learning new languages. I'm also talking about design. So in my opinion, as a web designer, you should spend a minimum of 30 minutes to 1 hour each and every week to just go and look what's new, what's trending, what doesn't work, what works, what are the new techniques in terms of UI, in terms of UX, because otherwise, before you know it, you're going to be outdated because the web goes so fast and it's like fashion. If you try to wear clothes that were trendy like 10 years ago, people are going to look at you, like, what's wrong with that person? Now, you may not care, and that's fine. I'm not telling you to be a fashion victim, but I'm telling you that if you want to be current, if you want customers to come your way, if you want to make a living being a WordPress freelancer, then this is something you should take into account. And especially now, there are so many great websites. I often talk about awards, and I just go through the first websites that come up. Now, I have my favorite ones, but sometimes I try to discover new ones. When you look at the design, you're going to wonder, how did they achieve that? How did they achieve this? And that's going to force you to try to learn new techniques. So usually when I'm intrigued like that, I try to recreate the things I see. And most of the time, I need to learn something new. Maybe it's a new CSS technique. Maybe it's a hack. I don't know, but it keeps my brain fresh. Yeah, it keeps me alive professionally. Because if you don't, even if you were the best one like last year in your area and people know that you're great for your design and your techniques, but if you stop learning, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Maybe for a couple of years, you're going to be fine, but then the third year, the fourth year, you're going to see competitors with much better looking designs and much better websites overall. So you really need to spend time learning. And if you don't like learning, maybe you should pick another career. And I'm not saying that to talk down on anyone. I'm just saying that because that's the truth. In this industry, you never stop learning. And that's actually something that I enjoy. And most of the people I talk to, they enjoy that also because it's exciting. It's exciting because it goes so fast. Each and every time I try to look for what's new in web design, there's always something new. Someone came up with a technique, or even if you just go into private forums, private groups, and you look at what people created and the creativity they come with, when there's a problem and they need to find a solution, I think it's a great era to live in, and it's a great industry. 2, portfolio first. Now, you may have heard of mobile first. Well, this is portfolio first. So in my opinion, before you do anything else, before you try to do ads, before you try to just showcase your work here and there, go to networking events, which is something that I actually enjoy doing and prefer doing, but you need to work on your portfolio first. Now, if you know anything about my channel, I talk about that a lot, and I've actually covered that in a few videos already, so I'll probably link it in the description. But this is something you should really put your focus on. Now, you don't need 10, 20, or even more items in your portfolio. I think a solid 3 websites, 3 to 6 websites, but your best ones is going to do the job. And you also want to keep your portfolio current, because if you create 3 beautiful websites and then you leave those websites in your portfolio, well, in 3 years, it will most likely be outdated. So you really need to work on it, making sure it's fresh and it's relevant also. Now, I've covered that time and time again, but I truly believe that if you put your heart into it, you can actually create a portfolio in a month. You don't need complex website. You just need a few, maybe a 1-page website and a couple of 5 pages websites where you can really show your creativity. And that's the key thing. You want to show your potential customers something they like and enjoy. because that's going to sell more than even the salesperson, which I talked about in the first part of this video, which is also very important. But even the salesperson won't be able to do anything if you don't have a portfolio, and not just any portfolio, if you don't have a great portfolio. So you don't need to have the best website all around, but you need something clean, something that looks clean on a desktop, on a tablet, on a mobile. So you need to work on that. Now, luckily for you, I've covered that on the channel also. I created a free, I think it's a 2 hours course showing you how to create a one-page website. And basically a multi-page website is just a variant of that. You just need to add several pages. But I'm not the only one. There are many talented creators here on YouTube, and you can learn all of that for free. So basically all you need is time, and with the current situation, you might have a lot of time on your hands. 1. Get a CRM. Now, what is a CRM? Well, CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management,
if I'm not mistaken.
And basically what a CRM is going to do is going to help you streamline the whole process with your clients. It's going to make it look much more professional. For example, you could handle support through your CRM. So it's going to be an interface where you log in and where your clients can also log in, and everything is streamlined. Now, most people do that by email, but how are you going to find some information in, I don't know, 6 months' time when a client asks you, oh, you remember that issue I told you about? Well, I put the link in that message. And then you have like, if you're like me, you have a mailbox with like 200 emails per day. How are you going to find that? And even if you find it, you're going to waste a lot of time. Whereas in a CRM, you can really streamline the process. You can have your projects, everything neatly organized. And this has changed the way I do business. Not only you look more professional, but it's really more efficient. Some other things you could do with a CRM is create your quotes, your invoices, your estimates. Also use CRM if it's a good one. It's going to send invoices when your clients need to pay and the invoice is overdue. You can automate the whole process. And actually, my CRM does it. And if you're wondering what CRM I recommend, well, there are many great CRMs, but the one I like using is called Perfects. Perfects is really great, first of all, because it's packed with features, but it's not bloated. It's really a nice CRM. They add features when they need to. You can really customize it. You can select what you want, what you don't want, what you want your customers to see, what you don't want your customers to see, what type of notifications you want. You can translate it in pretty much any language. It's really efficient. It works really well. Cherry on the cake, you can get it for like $59 lifetime. The only thing you would have to pay for is support. So when you purchase it for $59, you get 6 months support. And if you want additional 6 months, I think it's like $20, but you can just let it go. And if you ever need support, you just go pay for 6 months of support. Honestly, I think I've been using Perfects for, I don't know how long, 3, 4, 5 years. I don't know. And I've only had to deal with support once or maybe twice because one of my customers actually installed Perfects and they had a question. But for the rest, it just worked. You install it just like you would install WordPress. It's as easy, honestly. You need to make sure that your web host is compatible, but before you purchase, you can read that in the FAQ. But I was able to install it on most web hosting plans I have with 2 or 3 different companies, so you should be safe. Now, there are much more robust CRMs, enterprise level CRMs, but we're talking about freelancing here. So I think it's a really solid solution. You can also have contracts in your CRM, and that's one thing that Perfects does. You can have contracts and you can allow your customers to sign electronically. I mean, I could spend like a day telling you about all the things you can do within Perfects, but I did even better because I created a video. I believe it's something like 40 minutes where I go through the features, and even there I was just scratching the surface. But this is one of the popular videos on the channel, and I truly believe that this is value for you. This is going to be value for you if you don't have that kind of system. not only is it going to help you, like I said, but you're going to look so much more professional. Now, one last thing I love to do with my CRM is project management. So especially for larger projects, but I try to do it even for the small projects, but for the larger projects, it's a must-have. Now, of course, you could use a tool like Trello, which I used to use a lot and I've recommended before. Sometimes I use Aura, but I use those tools when I'm just working on my own projects. When I need to deal with a client, and especially if it's a team that's behind the project on the client side with several people, I much prefer to have the CRM like Perfects and make sure that I can create my project. I can add people within the project. I can tag people within the project. I can attribute tasks to people in the project. I can mark when the tasks are actually done. I can add files. I can create comments. It's so much easier. So definitely you should get a CRM. And like I said, if you're just going to start with email, it's fine. But honestly, for something like $59, for something that's going to make your life easier and going to make you look instantly professional. Now, one thing I also like about Perfects, but I haven't tried it yet, so take this with a grain of salt, but one thing I like about Perfects is the fact that you can also purchase some script. There are a few third-party add-ons and tools, and there's a tool that allows you to create a web app if you need to. Now, I never had to use it because honestly, the mobile version is great, but it's good to know that some other people are developing for that tool. So definitely something I recommend because I use it all the time and I trust it, at least at the time of recording this video. But like I said, I'll be using that for a few years now. And I got a little bonus for you. Get a pro email. I can't tell you how many times I see people, and when I say people, I'm talking about freelancers, and when they send me their details, it's a Yahoo address or, come on. And okay, it's great to have those type of emails for personal stuff, but it doesn't make you look really professional when you're dealing with clients. Because when you think about the price of a domain name, which is something like $5 or $10, and web hosting, which is going to be something like between 40 and $100 per year for most of the web hosting plans, well, you're going to look cheap for some clients, even though it's not the truth. I have no problem. I love my Gmail. I truly love my Gmail. I love Gmail. And you can use Google Business. You can have your email address with a Google account. But when you're using Gmail, and especially when I see that, on cars, so you see a car with a nice covering, and then you see a Yahoo address, email address. And I'm not hating on Yahoo. Could be Yahoo, could be Outlook, whatever, Gmail. But what I'm trying to say is, even if you want to stay with those services, and like Google, which I talked about, well, at least get the pro version, even if it's just for one email address. I think professional Gmail account is going to be like $4 per month or $4 or $5 per month. So even if you don't want to go through the hassle of setting up a webmail and all that, well, you can just do it with Google Business. It's great, makes you look professional. You're going to use your own email address, and instantly, if you couple that with your CRM, your client's going to see, okay, that person is serious about business. Now, don't make me say what I did not say. If you're using those type of email addresses, personal addresses, it doesn't mean you're not professional. I'm just saying, from my point of view and some people's point of view, it makes it look like you're not a professional yet. And granted, there are many other criteria that are much more important than that. But to me, this is the kind of detail that I pay attention to. I'm always wondering, well, especially in our industry, if you're in the industry, you should know how to create a professional email address. So just a little bonus tip. Now, I have a ton of content, free content here on the channel, and you can feel free to go on the channel and you can learn pretty much all the stuff I talked about today. I got free videos for that. But if you feel like you'd like to work with me personally, just go to casino.com/consulting and choose the option that suits you best. So I hope that you got value out of this video. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up because it really helps growing the channel. And if you're not yet subscribed and you want more tips about freelancing, you want tutorials about WordPress and Elementor, make sure you subscribe and smash the notification bell so that you don't miss anything. So that's it for this video. I hope to see you in the next one. And in the meantime, don't forget to invest
in your success.